Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube NFL prediction segment. I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 4 of the 2023 NFL season. So the first game, well, Detroit at Green Bay. I'm going to take Green Bay at home in this one. Detroit, right now they look like they're the superior team, but Green Bay right now superseded expectations. They played better than I think a lot of people anticipated. Detroit seems to be, they were favored to win the NFC North this season, and they may very well do that. But in this particular game, it's a short week. Green Bay, the home team, has the advantage in this one. I'm going to go with Green Bay in this game, but I think, Jordan Love has not played bad. They had a very good win last week, coming back from X amount of points down, had a great fourth quarter and ultimately won the game. So I'm going to take Green Bay in this one. Now, the next game, Atlanta at Jacksonville. Well, Jacksonville, looks like they've underachieved so far this season. I think in that AFC South, the all four teams are 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's anybody's division at this point. I mean, Houston winds up beating Jacksonville last week. I don't understand how that happened. I think Jacksonville is going to want to redeem themselves from the poor performance they had last week. So I like Jacksonville over Atlanta. Atlanta right now has actually played like a little bit better than a lot of people thought. They're a little bit of a surprise to me anyway. But I want to say, I don't know, going on the road against Jacksonville, against the team that really is favored to still, win that division, I believe, in the AFC South. So I'm going to take Jacksonville this one. Now, the next game, this could arguably be the most compelling matchup of the week. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. And right now, I mean, the way I look at it is this: Miami looks like a juggernaut. I know their offense is very dominant. They scored 70 points when they subjugated Denver last week. I think 70-20 was the final score. But, Miami, I don't think has really played anybody this season. And they got to go on the road against Buffalo, divisional rival. Buffalo is at home. Buffalo, right? I mean, the thing about this is you got to look at the urgency factor in this game. Buffalo is 2-1. If they were to lose this game to Miami, they drop to 2-2. Miami would go to 4-0, and they would be 2 games up on Buffalo. Only 4 games into the season. That's what makes, even though it's only week 4, why this game could be a lot of significance down the road for these teams. So I think because of the urgency, the fact that Miami can afford to lose this game more than Buffalo, and the fact that Buffalo still has an abundance of talent on this team, they are at home, probably be a little bit cooler there. Weather will favor Buffalo. I want to take Buffalo at home. Now the next game. Well, I'm going to reluctantly take the Bears over Denver. Chicago will be at home in this game. Both these teams are not playing well. This is like it could be a toilet bowl game this week. You have the Chicago Bears. I mean, they just look like they're in disarray. Denver looks that way as well. But I think, given the fact that this is going to be at Chicago, and one of these teams is due to break out at some point, and really on virtue of Chicago being at home is why I'm going to take them in this game. So I'm going to take the Bears at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns at home over the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see if that ravenous defense comes up for Baltimore this week. Cleveland right now, even without Nick Chubb, they have been playing, halfway decent. Deshaun Watson looks like he's coming back to his old self. Baltimore, I'm not really sure what's going on with them, if they're a team that might have been overrated going into the season or what's happening with them. But I think a lot, we can figure out and evaluate better after this game against Cleveland. Cleveland right now, their front, their pass rush, I think that could be the difference in this game against the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. So I'm going to take Cleveland to get this done. Now the next game, Cincinnati at Tennessee. It's funny how, this game, a lot of things point to the Bengals to win this game. They're the better team, I think. Tennessee seems to be, on offense, they're a little bit in disarray. They're not really, they don't seem to have much continuity on offense. They didn't score many points last week against Cleveland. But Tennessee Titans are interesting. They're very, I've stated this before and I'll say it again, very enigmatic team. They're the kind of team who seems to win those games a lot that you don't think they should win. And then they go out, they'll lose a game which you think they should have won. But in this case, I hate to say it, but I think the Titans will lose this game that they should lose in this particular case. Um, the thing about it is, Tennessee is going to have to figure out how they're going to get their offense going. The offensive line is going to have to do better if they have any chance at all against the Bengals, but I just don't know if it's going to be good enough to contain the pass rush of Cincinnati. Cincinnati has played well against the Titans in recent time, and I think they continue to do so. I like the Bengals in this one. Now the next game. Well, the Rams are going to be at the Colts, and I'm going to take the Rams to get this one done on the road against the Colts. The Colts had a good game last week, beating the Baltimore Ravens. The Rams, looking to bounce back from a poor performance against the Bengals. The Rams, I think, believe that was a game they should have won, but they didn't quite. They just didn't get the job done. And I think in this particular game, Matthew Stafford with the Rams, they got a better quarterback than the Colts do, and I think that's going to be a key difference. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one. Well, now the next game, you got the San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints, and in this game, I don't know. As far as the 49ers, look like they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and going against the Saints in this particular game. I think the 49ers keep rolling, and they do what they're supposed to. They beat a team that they're supposed to beat, and I think they get it done in this particular game. When I saw the Saints play the Titans in Week 1, it looked like the defense and the cornerbacks were playing really well against the Titans. If they could, be competitive, if they could play decent in this game, they'd have a shot against that 49ers offense, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the 49ers offense is going to be too much for the Saints, so I'm going to take 49ers on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Washington Commanders. Philadelphia, they look like they're picking up right where they left off from last season, and they look like they could come out of the NFC again. You have the Washington Commanders, who did not look good last week against the Bills, and then they got to go on the road in this one against an Eagles team, which is, could be one of the more dominant teams in football right now. And I just don't see it happening where they beat them on the road. So I'm going to take the Eagles at home. The next game, we got Minnesota against Carolina, and both these teams, I believe are 0-3 right now, and if Minnesota right now looks like they're still the better 0-3 team. They got a little better offense, I think, a better quarterback with Kirk Cousins, and we'll see how the running game goes against Carolina. I think in this particular game, Minnesota really, if they don't win this game, start out 0-4, what's going to happen with this team? They're defending NFC North champions, so this is a team that really, should have really had at least a couple wins right now, I believe, and they've underachieved. So I think in this game that Minnesota, it's one for them that they can win. So I'm going to take Minnesota on the road in this one. Now the next game, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Houston Texans. I know Houston has some swagger after coming off that victory last week against Jacksonville. I think the one-game win streak is going to be short-lived, though. Pittsburgh, they seem to be getting things together right now. They had a good win last week, and I think they continue playing well. in this particular game against the Texans. So I'm going to take the Steelers to get this one done on the road. Now the next game, you have the Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers. The Chargers, they picked up that win last week, a dramatic win against Minnesota. It was a very, very tight game, and this is a team where some people believe could actually make the postseason this year, and I think they're going to come out and play like that team that should be doing this. I mean, they're at home against Las Vegas Raiders, and Las Vegas Raiders, quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe, is in concussion protocol, and his status, I guess, is going to be uncertain for the next game. The fact that this is on the road, it all points to me that the Chargers should win this. So I'm going to take the Chargers to win at home. Now, the next game, you got the New England Patriots at the Dallas Cowboys. Well, right now, the Patriots, the only win they have is against the Jets. That was a 5-point win against a Jets team that really doesn't have a great quarterback right now. And the thing is, they only put 15 points up against the Jets. I don't really expect them to do that much against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas, they had that one, bad game last week. That maybe that'll be their worst game of the entire season. Arizona, it might just be, an aberration. I'm thinking for Dallas. I mean, Dallas right now is good enough to win at home and bounce back against the Patriots and get the victory. Patriots right now do not look like a really good team to me, and Mac Jones may not be that great under duress and pressure. So I think a lot of this is going to be about getting that pressure on Mac Jones and force him to, maybe some bad errant passes and costly turnovers. So I like Dallas to get this one done at home. Now the next game, Arizona at San Francisco. Well, right now this is like a game that doesn't require an overabundance of analysis. San Francisco right now, they're playing, like one of the, right now I'd say they're one of the best teams, in the league right now. And for me, going against Arizona, Arizona, I mean, they got their win last week. They got a little swagger in that game. But I think for me, San Francisco, they're playing like one of the best, teams. I mean, there's no team that's invincible. San Francisco certainly isn't. But they're going to continue to play like one of the best teams in the league against Arizona. So I like them against the Cardinals. I want to say something. I got to be kind and rewind. I think when I was talking about the Saints game coming up against Tampa Bay, I made a mistake and went with and I said San Francisco was playing. I made a mistake. Tampa Bay is playing the Saints. Saints are at home. I'm going to take the Saints at home over Tampa Bay. I'm sorry about that. I had to be kind and rewind. But now the next game. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to come to the New York Jets. They'll be at New Jersey. That's about the only thing that the Jets can gain some solace in, is the fact that it's at home, because there's nothing else that's really that advantageous about the game for the New York Jets. The thing about this is, the Jets, they came into the season, looking like they could be the most compelling, intriguing team. They had that thing on Hard Knocks, and then, Aaron Rodgers goes down, after like four offensive plays, and now, you're hearing this talk about with Zach Wilson, and it's Joe Namath comes out and on a video, and he says, that he's calling out the Jets offense or something, or at least with the quarterback, and they need to revamp their offense. And the thing about it is, the Jets apparently have signed Trevor Siemian right now, I guess pending a physical. Now, the thing about this is, the Jets, Trevor Siemian, is a little bit of an upgrade, I'm sure, from Zach Wilson. But I don't know how much of it's going to be. It's not going to really make a difference in the final outcome. I mean, the Jets are still going to lose this game. I like Kansas City in this one. Maybe, maybe if Taylor Swift shows up at the game, it could provide a distraction for Travis Kelce and the Chiefs, and maybe that'll help the Jets. But I'm being flippant with that, of course. But anyway, the thing about it is the Jets, for right now, the only thing they can really look at realistically is make this game a little bit more competitive. If Trevor Siemian really does start this game for the Jets, and it's really, and to me, I mean, I don't really see really much, way you can slant it where the Jets could actually win this battle and emerge victorious. I mean, I'm a New York Jets fan. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him pull the upset, but I just don't see it really happening in this particular game. It's going to be too much offense from the Chiefs. The Jets, the only way Jets can, in all seriousness, as far as making it competitive, well, the Jets defense may make it a little bit more competitive than some people believe it's going to be. That's the only thing really for them that can help. Now the Jets offense, if Trevor Siemian is able to get good amount of completions, they'll do better than they had done previously, but they're still not going to be because they have weapons on as far as receivers and their running backs go. But they got to make sure they have the quarterback that's going to do what he's supposed to do and complete his passes and not make, they almost need, the Jets are like, in this situation, they need practically a flawless game in order for them to win. No turnovers. If they can get no turnovers, they have a little bit of a chance. But it's just, there's too many things that have to go right for the Jets and too many things to go wrong for the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to get this one done on the road. Now, last but not least, we got the Giants at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I want to take Seattle to get this one done on the road. The Giants right now, I don't know, really, what's going on with them. But what are they going to be able to do? What's going to be their identity on offense? They haven't really, the last game they played, did not really look really that great. I don't know what to really expect from this New York Giants team right now, and they got to figure out how are they going to get more consistency on the offense in this one. So I just think Seattle right now, they're just the better team right now, at least on paper from what I've seen. New York will be at home. They have they might make it competitive given it's a nationally televised Monday night game, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to get the W. So I'm going to take Seattle to get this one done on the road. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.